Hey everyone, I'm Angi. This is New Path Tarot, and I'm going to continue on the Mediumship series. So if you haven't seen these before, I'm doing until I'm through with the Mediumship training deck. These readings are meant to be kind of like for somebody who wants to learn mediumship or enhance their skills of mediumship. And every single reading I do of these, although they're a pick a card style, it would be helpful to listen to each of the piles. But I'm going to keep them up so that you're going to be able to access these for quite a while. At least that's my intention right now. So I wouldn't feel like you have to rush through them or anything. Just pick the ones that you feel guided to as spirit leads you to which ones are going to be the best for you at this time. So I'm going to give you 3 different numbers to choose from in order to pick your pile. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and the impression of these numbers can come to you in any way of your psychic skills, being your psychic sight, your psychic hearing, your psychic knowing, feeling, whatever works for you. But what I would like to suggest is you close your eyes and you take a deep breath. And the 3 numbers to choose from are for pile 1, 11, pile 2, 22, pile 3, 33. So again, that's 11, 22, 33. So those are all master numbers. I wouldn't be surprised if you feel like you should listen to all 3 piles today. And I do feel like the cards that came through to be talked about are pretty important cards for the mediumship process anyway. So if you have time to allocate to watching the whole video, I would highly suggest to do so. I haven't mentioned this before on here, but a tip that I would suggest to you is actually when I watch other readers' videos, just to save time, I speed up the time to 1.25. Especially if they're a slow talker, I'll speed it up to 1.5. And I don't know, I guess it's just me. Like I speed it up and I'm like multitasking at the same time. I can't just like watch a video. I'm just listening in the background while I'm doing other things. And then whatever gets my attention is usually what I feel like is meant for me to hear it. But that's just my process. Although these mediumship videos are a little bit more like you should probably pay attention, but it's just a little tip I felt like giving you guys. I know my voice might sound a little different at 1.25, but it's still you'll get the message. And for the most part, I don't think I'll be speaking fast enough that you'd miss anything, unless your native language is not English. Okay, so pile 1, I'll show you guys all 3 of the cards actually, and then so you can get a little preview. So pile 1 is the divine source. So I really do feel like that's going to be an important message, obviously. Pile 2 is spirit guides, which again is going to be an important message. And 3 is spirit communication process. Again, another important message. So I feel like that's why I gave you guys the master numbers today of 11, 22, and 33, is because these messages are all important in their own regard. Okay. So go ahead, and if you want to start on 2 or 3 instead of starting with the divine source, then go ahead and do that. Otherwise, we're going to get started now. And the way I do these is I read the back of the card and then I give intuitive information as it comes up after I read this. Okay. The divine source, spirit, is an infinite, expansive source of love that you can access anytime using the power of thought, prayer, or a breathing meditation. A practicing medium should constantly seek advice and guidance from the divine source, which is always there for healing and support throughout one's life journey. Often referred to as the white light, the divine source is a positive healing light that can energize, cleanse, and strengthen your connection with spirit. This energy can also be used in support of graceful intentions and manifestations in all areas of your life. Be proactive and set aside time every day to connect with this loving light. The healing properties of the white light can increase your spirit self and amplify your abilities as you let a pure white stream of white light energize you, as though you're bathing in a waterfall of unconditional love, joy, strength from the divine source. To connect with the divine source, you can use this technique of sitting in the power of your own beautiful light. Breathe into your heart center, and as you focus on the power of your breath, Allow your consciousness to form a link with the divine source. Let the white light surround you and purify your spirit and energize you as each ray of light heals and nourishes every aspect of your being. Don't forget to share love and gratitude in return for the blessings received. Partnership card, sitting in the power. I think I've done that partnership card before, sitting in the power. So I think so. So if you wanted to find that one, then you could watch one of the earlier videos. Now, some things that came to me is it says, or a breathing meditation. So I actually mentioned this on one of my last videos, is that to do meditation and to get into that altered state of mind quickly, you can do breathing techniques to do so. And it's talking about that. So that is a thing that I think could be helpful for you to keep in mind. This is really important, this whole divine source thing. For example, white light contains all of the colors, and I have been shown a technique of color therapy, color healing, distance healing with color. And so using white light is kind of a catch-all for all the colors, and I think it is important to start with that white. This is interesting, when we talk about divine source, spirit, like it says, divine source, and then it has spirit in parentheses. When we talk about that, notice they have the emphasis on this, like, the crown chakra, the pineal gland, the third eye, this whole, in the brain, when they say it's all in your head, it literally is all in your head, This whole meat vessel is literally just conduit for us to have our human incarnation, but the true reality is we are just the brain and the spinal cord, and that is really, really key for the perspective of what is it that we're actually doing here. We're here to have a human experience, but if you want to live the most abundant life that you can, the best thing to do is to have that connection with the divine source, as it says. And notice, well, at least I'll give you my interpretation. Divine source is not the same as God, the creator, if you will. I feel like that which created us is under the divine source. To me, the divine source is like the everything. So I use the word source, universe, God kind of interchangeably because it's weird. Like the word God kind of implies like there's this old white guy with a beard and a cane sitting on a throne and on the clouds, and there's like angels singing all around him and everything. And that's like, the biblical perspective, but the reality to me is that divine source is a better word or term for it because it's an energy. It's a white light. You ever notice when people say that they died, it's like they say go to the light, or they saw like a bright white light or something. Like they see a tunnel and on the other side is a very bright white light. So that's that source light. And as a human, our eyes, it's too bright for us. We would be blinded. Our human eyes would be blinded to see the source light. But upon passing, you're no longer limited by the human vessel. So you are able to see and perceive not just source, the essence of source, but also all of the information that we are veiled from here on our earth incarnation at this time, even though we know a lot more in this incarnation than we've known in past and recent incarnations. And when I say recent, I mean human, the trajectory of humanity, other than Atlantia and Lemuria and all that. But I'm saying as far as we are right now, we're very devolved from our spiritual connection for the most part, except for those who are on this spiritual path. Other religions who have like a very close, strong connection with Allah or with God or whatever, I feel, although I have issue with religion, but I don't have issue with religion. It's like I love that there is religion for the individuals who can make it what it works for them, to where it's not toxic or where it's not like judgmental of others and that sort of thing. But point being the connection with the divine source being the takeaway here. that's so important to me, and I preach it all the time, that it's so important to have a connection with source, to have a belief, a true belief, a knowing of not just I believe in it, but I know, and have a personal connection to source as if you're supported and held by it, and that the universe wants you to succeed. Notice I said the universe, it's interchangeable for me. Universe is the catch-all term for not just swords to me, but also spirit guides and angels and whatever else, you know. They, and when I say they, I mean the same thing. They want you to, and also star beings, because I referenced that in my last video. That wasn't a mediumship one, but star beings are what has come to me in a dream several years ago, saying, we are here to help you. And they when they said you, see, in the English language, the word you is, sometimes it's you individually, sometimes it's you as humanity. And when they said we're here to help you, they meant everybody. And the fact that they gave me that message just means that at that time I don't think I was speaking publicly about things. And so it's like the universe must have known that at some point in my life, I would take this role of speaking about spiritual topics. Actually, no, I did have some YouTube videos that I had done. I was currently in a marriage at this time. My second marriage, I was making YouTube videos now that I think about it, but it was nowhere near what it turned into. But what it turned into ended up being weird, and now what it is now, I'm actually really happy with, and I want to keep it going. So let's just skip the whole middle part that got weird. That's what I'll do in my mind. Okay, so the beginning part of it is the star beings came to me in the dream state, said, we are here to help you, and I did actually for a long time interpret it as you. They're here to help me. And I'm like, okay, thanks. Cool. And then moving forward, I'm like, oh, they mean you. Because then I got more messages according to the idea of helping others connect with star beings. And I do mean that, because the divine source is great for this whole white light dealio. But that can only get you so far. Then it's like, now what do I do? I have the connection with swords. I feel it. I know it. I do connect with the white light. Everything's good. Now what? Well, now what is probably pile 2 with spirit guides and pile 3 with spirit communication process. In the meantime, you know, spirit guides, the star beings are part of that category, mind you. So, I only call them star beings so emphatically is because that's what they told me that they are. You know, they said star beings are here to help you. I'm like, okay, nice to meet you, star beings. I'm going to call you what you called yourself. You know, I'm respecting your pronoun. So, having said that, I do feel like star beings are a super evolved version of us. And I do mean us. I mean like humans. I said this in the last video, so I want to re-emphasize it. It's my current stance that I'm very convicted about, and I feel confident enough to preach it, I guess you'd say, instead of just being like, you know, I think this, but form your own thoughts, which I do still say so. But I'm like, okay, this is my truth, so I'm just going to say it, is that I feel like star beings are humans who have evolved. Human is such a hard word to say, human. Okay, what if they're not originating from Earth? What if Earth was a created place to home humans, and yet that which created us is external to Earth? Therefore, are they human that created them in likeness of themselves? Or are they humanish? You know, this is all speculation part of it, but it's more just the idea of getting you to think about this thing from a practical, like tangible, not just spirit guides. Ooh, there's some far mystical thing. No, star beings will literally communicate with you directly in your dreams, so much as to say, hi, nice to meet you. I'm a star being. I'm here to help you. So, if they can communicate that directly, then that means They have the ability to communicate that directly and come up straight in your face and tell you a message and say, listen, buddy, I have a message for you, and here it is. Do they do that usually? No. Can they do that? Absolutely. They have the power to make your dreams not weird. I had a very awesomely, uh, you know, star beings and AKA source, the universe and everything, in this context, they know your truest soul and heart intentions and desires. Here's an example. Let's say you want to manifest a relationship. So you do the cool thing where you write down a list of all the characteristics of your ideal partner. And or you just have it in your head. You're like, okay, I want this characteristic, this characteristic. I definitely don't want this, and I maybe want that. And, you know, so however, you can say that, but star beings, I'll just say, they know you more, so much more than you even know yourself, because they know you in this incarnation from start to finish. They know you in all of your incarnations. So they know you more than you know yourself in such a way that you just don't even understand. They know you from that life that you had 17 lives ago, you know? So they know the whole perspective, and they know what you came here to experience as a soul, to evolve your soul. They know what you came here to accomplish. They know what you can, So some people who are on a high spiritual path are like doomed or destined to not have a successful relationship, because it would distract them from doing what they came here to do. And they won't feel fulfilled in a relationship. It's like, sure, it can be good, but it's going to be not fulfilling. And you're going to feel like something's missing unless you're living your soul purpose. And so, it's like, you sometimes are given experiences or relationships that are not in your soul's congruence, because they're wanting to help evolve you in some way. And so it can be confusing. And well-meaning humans who don't understand this can blame it on you. I call it spiritual victim shaming. They'll be like, oh, well, you attracted that to yourself. And it's like, and yes, you did, but kind of not. It's like it was a conjunction thing here with your spirit guides, and your soul maybe made a contract to agree to experience this for the purpose of the evolution of your soul, so that they can get you on the right path to help other people awaken. That's the big point here, is, the great awakening. We want everybody to awaken, and therefore they can go on and do what they're supposed to do to help ascend the planet back to the Lemurian and the, I almost said starseed, but Lemurians are from Earth, so they're not starseeds technically, and the Atlantean ages. So I hope that you understand all that whole spiel I just gave, because it's a piggyback off the last reading I gave, pile 3. And I just feel like just to say source is too basic. So I needed to kind of go into detail and break it down a little bit. But it is important to connect with that white light. I don't do, some readers do this spiel before they do readings, and they'll say some words, and they'll be like kind of like a prayer, or an intention, and they'll be like, please help me to connect for the best messages for pile 1, and da 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 da. See, I tried that out many years ago, but I felt like I didn't need to, because I learned as a young child this technique of sending out a beacon of energy that gives the intention in a split second. I know it's hard to explain this, but that's how I get my messages anyway, for psychic messages, is I get a burst of energy and then I have to interpret it. And so that's what I'm saying is, before I do my reading, I don't set any intention, and I don't say anything beforehand, even to myself or off camera. And that's because I already have set the intention that the second I am selecting the cards, and the second and I hit record, that process has already taken place behind the scenes, and I don't need to do anything to make it happen. It just is so. And that's just something that came to me. So I honor that without trying to, you know, explain it or justify it to myself or others. Other people want to do their thing. Please do. It's cute. I love it. I actually love it for you to do it, but I personally just don't resonate with that. And so the thing with the whole divine source is that white light energy. I was a child and I was scared in my room, and I felt there was a presence in there, and I was literally terrified. And I don't know how to explain how this happened, but I just somehow, some inner knowing of myself, merged all of the energy throughout my physical body into a ball from my solar plexus as a ball of white light, and got so small and then blasted out and filled up my room, and the negative energy wasn't there anymore. The scary energy wasn't there, and I felt the room was cleansed by the white light. I was probably 4 when I did this, 4 or 5. It was definitely actually before I was 5. Now that I think about it, so somewhere between the ages of 0 and 5, I came up with this without anybody telling me. I just did it, and it worked. And it started being a thing I did every night, just as a precaution. Like instead of waiting until I felt scared to do it anymore, now I'm just going to do it anyway. And then I'm like, now I can sleep. I tried to imagine being a little child and you're born in a family that doesn't work that way. Like nobody teaches you this sort of thing. And it's funny because my daughter, I'm scared. I'm like, okay, take all the energy in your body into a little ball in your right here in your tummy and blast it out into your room and cleanse your room of anything scary. And then the long conversation ensues of why, what does that mean? How does that work? Wait, you did that when you were a kid? Tell me more. What else did you do? Tell me all these things. She'll talk your ear off if you let her. So, point is that that's just one way to use the divine source without even having to label it as that. You didn't know it was that per se. I technically it was the energy in my body that I had, but the energy in your body is source. So it kind of is by default, you're using source energy. But it's always good to not use your own reserves, but to bring it through your crown chakra and do your healing with the source energy as opposed to your own. And by the way, the best I can sell you on this right now, the best reason to do healing work, energetic healing work, is because you're going to get healed in the same process. So if you do Reiki or any other kind of source energy, you are pulling it through you. Ideally, you're not using your own reserves, and therefore you by default will get healed as well. What other kind of modality can that happen with? Like massage, unless I'm only talking about the energy healing, right? So massage, you get worn out, doing a lot of massages back to back. Even teaching yoga, you get worn out. Doing readings, you can get worn out. You're like, oh, my throat hurts. I've been talking for hours. It seems to me energy healing is the only thing that is constantly replenishing. Therefore, guess what? Source energy is constantly replenishing. And your guys' pile, your reading is very long, but I feel like it's important to say this too. Think about the idea of manifestation, because it said right here, it said, use the power. Wait, no, not that part. Here it goes. This energy can also be used in support of graceful intentions and manifestations in all areas of your life. Be proactive and set aside time every day to connect with this loving light. Like I said, I don't do that anymore. Well, I did it a lot when I was a kid, so I don't do it anymore. But if you've never done it, you should. You should definitely start your process of your intuitive work or your healing work by connecting with the source light first, before you do anything else. And then you connect to the spirit guides and stuff, but we'll talk about that in pile 2. But for manifestation purposes, the divine source is infinitely abundant. Therefore, the limitation that we put on our own lives is literally us holding ourselves back. There's no reason why you can't create for yourself the life that you can dream of. There's no reason to have limitation on yourself in this incarnation. You're holding yourself back if you don't feel like in this lifetime you can accomplish extreme wealth. Now, the overarching issue is that we have the 1%ers who are in control of everything. We have corporations who are in control of everything. But within that caged structure, you can thrive. You're not going to be the 1%er most likely ever, but you can be very, very comfortable. You can have a wonderful car, you can have a boat, you can have a house and a vacation house, and you can manifest that because we have the system of money. We are not a socialist society like I think would be good, but a modified socialist society where everybody at least has their basic needs met. But if you want to achieve more, you can by being a driven person who wants to have a nice car, have a nice house, be above and beyond your basic needs being met, you know? And so my stance on this is that anybody who feels like limiting beliefs regarding money and abundance and manifestation, I really, really try to break you out of that. And I do a one-on-one coaching program. It's over the course of 1 year. It is 10 sessions for 90 minutes each. That, I mean, we can blow through them in 1 month if you want to, but the idea is to pace them out so that you have time in between each session to actually manifest, see results, and then fine tune. And this is all in conjunction with spirit. So again, tapping into divine source, infinitely abundant. You can manifest literally anything that is humanly possible in this incarnation. So why not? You know, why limit ourselves? Okay. I said a lot of stuff in your guys' group. I thought it was important. So I'm going to move on to pile 2 now with spirit guides. And I do suggest you listen to this. If not now, then another time. Come back to it. Okay. So it was nice having you guys. Please like my video if you were helped by it, because that helps me and my algorithms, and that helps other people see my shit, and then they're like, ooh, this is good, thanks. There you go. Okay, cool. All right, pile 2, spirit guides. I'm going to read you the back of the card, and then I will give you intuitive information that comes along with it. There is a place within the realm of the spirit world where you can access guidance, inspiration, and support throughout your spiritual development. It is a higher realm where spirit guides, angels, and masters exist. Notice I did the master numbers today too. 11, 22, 33, master numbers. They're here to support your mediumship and spiritual development, so just reach out and connect. Every good medium must learn to work in partnership and collaboration with their spirit guides to know how and when they draw near and how to forge a strong link. Meditation to quiet the mind and breath work to create balance and rhythm are some of the ways to blend with their energy. So interesting, again, breath work, because in pile 1, I mentioned that in my last video, the way that you can easily or more easily and more fastly get into a meditative state is by using the breath. So they're saying that. Quiet the mind and breath work to create balance and rhythm. All right. A good practice when you're in your meditative space is to open your heart and soul so you can receive their light and love. As you feel their presence, breathe in their energy and allow them to connect with you. As the relationship grows, you will find your guides offer you inspiration, new ways of thinking, and methodologies to heal. Inviting your guides to connect throughout your day can bring assurance, grace, and ease into the flow of your life. If you don't know what to ask for at first in the way of advice, just trust in your guides to offer support and direction. Know that they won't interfere in your life lessons that you are meant to learn. Don't forget to honor all the blessings and wisdom that your guides bring. First thing is, why do bad things happen to good people? If we have spirit guides, why don't they protect us from that? Well, easy answer, blanket answer is maybe you're meant to experience that for your soul growth. That's one of the scapegoat answers that is a possibility. It's definitely not that you vibrationally attracted it to yourself because you're not in a manifestation energy. That's bullshit, and I hate spiritual victim shaming. So no, if you experience something bad, please don't sit here and think, oh, I'm a I am inherently bad at the core of my divine nature. No, you're not. Um, oh, I'm being punished for a past life when I did bad things. My personal belief on karma is that every incarnation you live after you die, you absolve your karma in the afterlife before reincarnating. Now, however, you ever like have an experience where when you're in it you act okay, no, here's a good example. I don't know if you guys have ever seen the show oh god, what is it with Neil Patrick Harris and it's How I Met My Mother. Have you ever seen How I Met My Mother? Well, there's this one episode where when I think her name's Wendy, right? The white girl. I haven't seen it in a long time, by the way. When she gets around a girl from high school that she went to high school with who was a black girl, she started talking like Ebonics with her, and so did the black girl. They were just talking like really ghetto. And then when they went their separate ways, the black girl actually started talking like really like proper English, you know, and they were like, wait a minute, what's going on here? And she was like, oh, it's just that when we get around each other, we talk like that. Think about it like that. Okay. So your past life, let's say in your past life, you lived a certain way for an entire incarnation of like, let's say 75 years. Well, you take, when you get back in the human suit, you can kind of like get back in that rut, if you will, if it was a negative rut. If you made bad choices chronically in one incarnation, you're going to have to override that in this incarnation. Like, and I'm only speaking like as if there's only one incarnation that's significant. I mean, we're talking over the span of all the lifetimes you've ever lived. So, um, you know, there's something to be said about nature versus nurture versus past lives is kind of like what I would say. It's like nature versus nurture is here in this incarnation, but then you have other factors, and that's called your past lives. Well, spirit guides cannot interfere with your free will. They can help try to lead you and guide you and nudge you, but you ultimately are the one who's making your choices. And you ultimately are the one who has to uncover your own awakening. They can lead you to the information that's going to help you, accelerate you, and get you on the best path for yourself. But ultimately, you have to be the one to open the book. They can only just point you to the book, and you're like, oh, that's a book. That's cool. I like that book. I should read that book. You never read it. That's your prerogative. You open the book, though, you have now followed through with the connection with your spirit guides of them nudging you to that book. And then what you do with it from there is also in conjunction with your spirit guides. Now, this is an invisible process because you don't actually have to even know about or connect with spirit guides to live a life aligned with source and aligned with your spirit guides. They you might die and never have known that you had spirit guides, but yet still live a life in accordance with spirit-led information because you just might be highly intuitive and not make the connection that there are spirit guides. You don't have to. You don't have to believe in it. You don't have to believe in spirit guides to work with them. You can just be like, okay, I don't even know what I believe in, but I'm going to assume there's spirit guides, or at least I'm going to pretend there are. And so if you're actually there, can you help me? You have no idea how many times I've prayed like that, where I've said either something like, I don't feel like I deserve to ask for prayer because I'm not living a life that is religious. And or I've said, I don't even believe in anything, but I'm going to pray anyway because I'm at this point in my life where I feel like I have to, because it's like I'm at my wit's end. So, and that's the thing about prayer is sometimes spirit guides can't step in unless you ask. And when I say spirit guides, we're talking angels, guides, masters, everything. Um, they're not supposed to impinge on your free will. So sometimes even to get the guidance itself, you have to ask. That's why I say, when you want a message, say, can you give me a message in my dreams, please? It's not going to kill you to say it often, like every night even, as opposed to just not doing that at all. Because by you asking for it, you are setting the intention and setting it in your active mind to receive it, so that when you wake up, you're like, oh yeah, I did ask for a message. Did I get a message? So it's a two-way communication with spirit. So it says inviting your guides to connect throughout your day can bring assurance, grace and ease into your flow of life. It's very true. You're gonna make decisions, splitting speed decisions with when you're connected to spirit like that, because I mean that's how psychic information works anyway. 9 times out of 10, I make sure I'm in a space to be intuitive, but honestly, I could do it on a dime. I could do it in the middle of Union Station. I could, but I prefer to like be in quiet, not distracted, and but I could just be like, okay, hold on, let me tune out everything. Okay, ask me the question. Should you da 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 da? Okay, let me hold on. Okay, I'm getting a huge yes. Yes, you should do that for sure. Yes, 100%. Well, I can do that for you. I can do that for me. Can you do that for you? Can you ask a rhetorical question about your own growth or somebody else's and get an answer back? And no, not just the answer is yes or no, but at what percentage of strength is the yes or no? Or is it a yes, but? Or is it a no, and? Is there more to it than just a yes or a no? Is it a maybe depending on this and that? See, that's the meat and potatoes of your psychic skills. And the way that I do my readings, the kind of clients I want to attract to myself are ones that want to manifest, want to change their life, want to be living their best life. I don't care if you were raised in foster care like I was, and you should be on drugs, dead, or in jail by now. You rise above it. And I'm going to tell you straight up truth, full transparency here. I personally had mental health issues in 2015, and it really spiraled me down. I was kind of proud of myself up until then that I have been so resilient despite the upbringing that I had that was so shitty, that I overcame all that. And I'm like, I'm living this great life, but it was an illusion. I was married and had a nice house and the kids and the dog, and we had money and everything was great, but it wasn't. The marriage was a sham, and I was miserable inside. And so I started searching for something through spirituality. And then, so my awakening process happened, even though, like I said, when I was a child, I was awake as a child, but that's not the same as an awakening, because it's always evolving. And so after a period of time of awakening, it actually leads to your dark night of your soul, as and I think that's a rite of passage as well. Now, how does your dark night of your soul manifest? In my instance, it was very dark. We're not talking dark night of the soul, we're talking black is black of dark night of the soul. And it did manifest as mental health. And so I had to overcome that as well. And then when I overcame that, now comes the rebuilding. And not just rebuilding, but we're talking about the Three Little Pigs, right? Three Little Pigs. The first one was straw, the second one was sticks, and the third one was bricks. And so my first, let's say, reinventing of myself was from the straw to the sticks. When I had my mental health crisis, it went from sticks to bricks. And now I'm at bricks. And now I'm like, what's after bricks? Because I'm at the bricks. And that's where I want everybody to get. I want them to go from straw to wood to bricks to whatever the heck is next. And I'm not sure yet. I'm stepping into it. So I can get you to where I'm at. I can even claim that I can get you farther than where I'm at, because I have manifested a very high-end client. High-end meaning wealthy. And this client has, but I manifested that. She says it all the time. She's like, you manifested me. I'm like, I know I did. And she's like, and I manifested you, because wealth is a human construct that we have to operate within. But it is not anything if you don't have connection with source and connection with spirit. And so I would, if somebody said, here's all the money in the world, but you have no faith whatsoever and you feel empty inside and miserable, or you're going to be broke as shit living on the street, but you're going to have the strongest faith ever. And everybody you come into contact with, you're going to touch their life in some way that's meaningful. And you're going to have really meaningful friendships and interactions with people that are going to feel like it doesn't matter what your living circumstances are. You're going to have great connections. Fuck yeah, I'd take that life over the rich life. I don't give a shit about possessions. I really don't. I like them. I want them. I'm going to manifest them for myself, like big time. Yes, I want to, and it's fun. Why not? I want the story. I want to say, hey, look what I did. But that's bragging rights. It doesn't mean shit to me. It really doesn't. The reality is, what really means something to me is connection with source, connection with my spirit guides, connections with people. That's it. I don't give a shit about anything else, you know? So, but I'm going to have the nice car. So, my friend that I manifested, client, mind you, high-end client, we have become friends. Why did we become friends? Because we are soul sisters. Something I'm going to share with you guys, pile two, is my literal best friend died October 12th of this year. And I met my new friend October 2nd. So there was a little bit of a crossover. In hindsight, it was inevitable that my best friend was going to die because her organs were failing left and right. She was terminal and she needed a transplant. COVID set back transplants. They weren't doing transplants during COVID. She got delayed. If she had gotten her transplant, she'd still be here. Well, she didn't get it, and her organs started failing one by one. Ultimately, she died of heart failure instead of her kidneys. Well, to this day, I'm still so saddened by the loss of my best friend. But I thought to myself, I'm going to tell you how manifestation, how powerful it can be. I said to myself, I can never replace Sheila. I'm never going to have another friend like Sheila. She was one in a million. I don't even want to. I wanted to honor her by like putting her in a bubble and saying this was the best relationship I've ever had in my life with anybody, hands down. And I don't even want another one like that. I just want to stay. I want to just like, this is it, and put it on a bookshelf and have it be like a trophy. Well, when I met my new friend, honestly, the fact that she had money meant zero to me. And we were becoming friends, but I was resisting. I was like, no, must stay professional. No friendship allowed. And it was not about her or my boundaries or anything. It was about Sheila. I was like, I am not replacing her. She is my only best friend forever. And so, however, things evolved. And now I have, honestly, a new best friend. I mean, it's true. I hate to say, I'm sorry, Sheila, I'm cheating on you. But no. The thing about Sheila passing is she's here right now. Like, it sounds crazy, but I talk to her all the time because we talk so much about the things going on in my life that I feel like I can just, instead of talking about it, I can be like, can you believe that shit? And I can kind of feel like the energy back going, dude, are you serious right now? And I'm like, I know, right? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, mm-hmm. So it's like unspoken words. Like, you don't even have to say anything. It's like she gets it. I get it. We get it. She's still my best friend, but she's in spirit. And we had a telepathic bond. We would literally think of each other and then reach out the same second. This is the weird. Okay, so I'd go into Messenger on Facebook and I'd start writing her and say, "You dead." It was our joke. It was the letter U and then DED. And it was a joke because sometimes she'd fall off the radar. And I'd be like, "You dead?" Because a couple years ago she was in a coma and I didn't hear from her for a while. And I was like, dude, don't ever do that to me again. As far as, I mean, don't go in a coma. Yeah, sure. No, I meant tell your mom to call me and tell me what's going on, because if you're not getting back to me, I'm thinking, I was like, are you dead? I haven't heard from you in 2 weeks. What the fuck? And she was like, I'm sorry. My mom should have told you. I will tell her if anything like that ever happens again to let you know. I'm like, yeah. So now the joke is if I don't hear from her for a few days, I'd be like, you dead? And so she'd do the same to me. If she didn't hear from me for a few days, she'd go, "You dead." One time, I go on Messenger and I see the three little dots showing that she's writing me at the same time I'm writing her. And at the same time, we both wrote, "You dead." It was freaking hilarious. I was like, oh my God, we got to talk. Because every time we talked, I was like, okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. And she'd be like, no shit. Well, this happened, this happened, this happened. Literal best friends. Okay. Can't replace that. Well, my new best friend, I call her the new Sheila, and she gets it. You know, it's not like she's like, this is weird or anything. Um, and guess what? She manifested me because she was praying for a very close friendship also. Never had one. See, I've had Sheila, so I know, but she's never had a Sheila connection, so now she does. And I'm her Sheila, she's my Sheila. It's kind of the weird way of wording it. Um, and so, how does manifestation work? Well, I actually did not ask for a new best friend. I didn't. I didn't ask. I didn't care. I didn't care. It's not that I didn't believe I could have one. It's not like I didn't think I deserved one. It's just I didn't want another Sheila. Yet the universe went, yes, you're going to get one. Here you go. And I resisted it. And then one day I wrote her and I said, you know what? I'm going to stop resisting this. We're supposed to be friends. And she goes, I know. So it was funny. It's like when you're in a relationship and when you first say I love you, it's this weird thing because you feel it before you say it, and it's like this unspoken thing. But who's the first to say it, and in what context, and how? You know, and it's like that. Like, did we just become best friends? I think we did. You know, Talladega Nights. So, anyways, okay. So connect with your spirit guides is the takeaway for your guys' thing. And the one thing they didn't say, they said spirit guides, angels, masters. They didn't mention ancestors and loved ones who have passed over, guardian angels. They didn't mention ETs either. My thing is angels and ETs are the same thing, but well, not the same, but I mean the same category as far as I do believe ETs exist. I do believe angels exist. I do believe masters exist. You know, masters are humans who have incarnated, who have become awakened to the point of enlightenment during their human incarnation. Therefore, they can very well guide you because they are qualified to do so. They've been there, done that, got the teacher. When you hear the word master, think they've done it. So they're most qualified to help me, most practically. Look at the spirit wolf. The looks like a husky. So the other thing about spirit guides is you can ask for spirit guides for a specific thing. Let's say you want to write a book. You can be like, I want a spirit guide to help me write my book specifically for this purpose. You can hire, it's called hiring a guide. And then remember to fire your guide when you're done with them. Be like, I'm hiring you for the purpose of this book. Now I release you. Because there's this thing that I've learned with my Akashic Records readings is that you can actually carry with you, they're called negative guides. Negative guides just mean that they were taken on for a certain role and you no longer need them and they're just kind of lingering around. I don't know why in spirit realm they would just go ahead and be like, okay, you don't need me anymore, goodbye. And I don't know why they wouldn't just come on board when you need them either, but there is this element of involvement. You have to be involved. I can't It's more powerful for you to get your own messages than for you to get a reading and have somebody else give you your messages. But sometimes, if you can't get your own message, Spirit will lead you to the right person to get the message for you. And certain readers can get you certain messages. We all have our own different styles. So my style is very grounded, practical, daily life, manifestation, paying bills, you know, making a business plan, that kind of thing. Because I do have a business degree, so it's like that my guides work with that kind of energy. Your path in life is going to be what you're interested in. What are you passionate about? Are you passionate about nutrition and fitness? Then your guides are going to be attuned to that. Are you passionate about doing readings? Your guides are going to be attuned to that. Are you passionate about helping people live their best life? Your guides are going to be attuned to that. You know what I'm saying? So you can say right now, let's everybody just do this and say, whatever spirit guides are best helpful for me right now, I'd like to bring them in and assign them to my life. And any spirit guides I have attracted to myself, either in this life or any other life, that are no longer needed, I release you at this time. There you go. We're good now. Okay, so moving on. I'm going to move on to pile 3 now. If you want to hear what I say there, it is spirit communication process. Please like my video, pile 2. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, pile 3, spirit communication process. I'm going to read you what the back says, and then I'll give you intuitive messages. Spirit is your soul essence. It is the spark of the divine in the center of your being. It is the part of you that existed long before you incarnated into this physical form and will continue long after you leave this world. It's this very essence that mediums connect with during communication. From spirit, through spirit, to spirit is a common mantra that mediums use to remember the purpose and process of mediumship. I think I might have gotten this card before, you guys, but you know what? I'm going to roll with it anyway. Okay. It's the understanding that the soul essence of those departed connects to the soul essence of the medium and then connects to the soul essence of the living recipient. In simple terms, it's a 3-way link. When this 3-way soul communication process is in perfect sync, there's a beautiful and seamless flow of communication filled with the energy of love and healing. To practice, simply sit across from your sitter who is open to connect with the departed loved one. As the medium, allow yourself a quiet moment to breathe and center yourself. Invite a loved one's spirit to draw close. Feel the presence of the spirit envelop you, allowing their soul essence to connect and merge with yours. Complete the connection by extending your energy to the soul essence of the sitter. Be still for a moment in this wonderful flow of energy, sensing, feeling, and hearing. Share any information with your sitter for validation. If you ever watched Tyler Henry, the Hollywood medium, he has a pad of paper and a pen, and he sits there and he doodles while he does that connection. It helps him distract himself and take the awkwardness off of the whole process of connecting, that whole 3-way communication thing. If you've ever seen Bashar, the channeler, he does this really weird breathing thing before he starts channeling, and then he goes, I bid you good day. So everybody has their own way of doing it. My way of doing it is just going, hey, how you doing? You ready to get started? I am like, no nonsense, get to the point, whatever. Because I'm just kind of like this. I'm going to work to do readings. I'm sitting at my desk. You walk in, you sit down. We're already ready to go. I don't need to do anything because I'm ready. Like, I intend that to be the way. But here's the thing. I've been doing this for a long time. So when you're first starting out, yes, it's good to do what we said in pile 1 was wherever it went, connect with source, breathe that white light in and connect with that. And then 2, connect with your spirit guides. And then 3, the spirit guides are going to connect you with the loved one of the person that's sitting there. And then 4, I'm saying 4, right? Because I skipped, I added the extra step of the spirit guides in there. And then 4 is the person sitting across from you getting the reading. Boom, all connected, everything's linked up, and then you're like, here we go. Now here's the thing, you can assign spirit to sit in different or stand in different places. So let's say they want to bring forward their mom and their sister. You can be like, mom, stand there, sister, stand there. Sister standing here, she's going to give me messages first. Here's your messages, blah, blah, blah. Okay, sister, go away. Mom, come in. All right, mom's here, blah, blah, blah. See, I'm not that good yet, but I've here's the thing. It's come for me in spurts. So I have done that before, and it's been like awesome, but it's not consistent. So somebody will be like, so can you bring in people who have died? And I'm like, yes, but I don't like advertise it because I don't feel like I'm really that great at it. But if it happens, it happens. And they're like, okay. And they're like, I appreciate your honesty. I'm like, I don't know how else to be, but thanks. And so they're like, I can feel the presence and I know they're there, but I get nervous about mediumship and I feel like I'm not going to do them justice and everybody's going to think I suck at it. Like in the spirit world, their loved one's going to go, she sucks. So, so here's the thing. They say it's a 3-way thing. I say it is, 4-way because it has to trickle down. Like, sure, you can just talk to their loved one directly, but I do feel like your spirit guides are a conduit for facilitating the process. So it's like somebody's ushering them in at the door and they're like, hey, you, okay, you're next. Okay, line up behind them. Okay, you're going to go next. Nope, stop cutting in line. You're next. You know, it's like, it's what's called the gatekeeper guide. They make sure nobody comes through that shouldn't be, because energy is so much more fluid than physical. So in physical, you'd have people literally standing in line, but in energy, people can merge together to give you a message that's combined. Your mother and sister seem to be coming in together, actually. It means like they're coming in blended. So then you have to separate them and say, okay, mother here, sister here. Boom. Give the messages. Okay. I think I have given this card before. I want to pick a different card for you guys, another one, and give more information. Ooh, I like this one. I just picked the one off the top. Trance dance. Okay. I've been in a club music, like trance, from the 90s, 80s, I mean, not 80s, 90s and 2000s vibe. And I was like, okay, so this is what happened. Went out to eat with my new friend, my new friend, and we went out to eat and they were playing trance songs from the 90s and 2000s, remixes that were chilled versions of them. I was like, I'm in heaven right now. These songs are freaking amazing. Just so you know, like you care. Okay, let's dance with spirit. Trance dance is an enchanting way to just play with the energy of spirit in a manner that is both fun and inspiring. There are no set choreographed steps, just the rhythmical, is that how you say it? Rhythmical okay. Movement of you and spirit in perfect harmony. Trance dance can be an uplifting practice that can reduce stress and be a refreshing change from the more formal and traditional practices of mediumship. Moving as one while immersed in the love and support of spirit, you'll feel your overall energy rise. When you couple breathing techniques, wow, you pile one, pile two, and now three all have breathing, and so did my last reading. Okay, so the breath is getting pretty important here. Um, when you couple breathing techniques with trance dance, it's possible to achieve higher levels of consciousness. This can be a wonderful healing practice. It can be a fast track to your spirituality, honestly. The breath can. It can lead you. See, the breath, you can't control your heartbeat, but you can control your breath. By controlling your breath, you can control your heartbeat by default, right? Well, by controlling the breath, you can get into an altered state of mind. Truthfully, you can. You should try it at least once in your life. Okay. I'll explain a technique that I learned about how to do it. Begin by finding some space where you can move around freely. Play inspirational music that moves your soul and raises your energy. Set the mood of your sacred space with your choice of lighting, incense, or candles. I was going to say it again, lighting. Ugh. Close your eyes and breathe into your heart space, calling in the energy of spirit to join with you. Let your body sway naturally to the music, just you and spirit in movement together. As you relax, surrender every part of your body to the flow of the music through your dancing. You will feel awakened and energized. As you dance in the light and the love of spirit, dance as though no one is watching you, so you can reach the wondrous place of uninhibited freedom, inspiration, and healing, where your connections with spirit will thrive. Dance and singing are two of the things that people can feel most self-conscious about, because there's this expectation that you have to be good in order to do it. It's like, oh, don't sing. You have a terrible singing voice. What the fuck? I can sing if I want to. I want to. Leave me alone. I could dance if I want to. I don't have to be a professional trained dancer to enjoy dancing. Well, see, I don't like dancing, but I like Tai Chi. And so if music comes on, I'm like, oh, I'm going to do my Tai Chi to this awesome song. And so there's movement, and then there's movement with spirit moving through you. But I don't like to think of like some external weird spirit merging with me and dancing through me necessarily, unless I'm trying to like channel a specific energy. What I like to do is more of like, let's say in my Tai Chi practice, in another life, I was like some master level Tai Chi master, grandmaster or something. And so then in this life, I want to like bring that in. So I kind of intend that without actually intending it, but it's like my background intention that I don't actually state, that I basically I basically step into that energy. And think about how over the span of my life from now on, I'm still going to continue to learn Tai Chi. Well, anything I learn in the future, if I could tap into that energy. So we got past and future, you know. Well, there's that. And then there's also the breath technique I want to give you guys. So I learned this technique to get up into the really high dimensions, that you take a deep breath in and you breathe out really fast. All of your air, expel it fastly. And when you do, you send your consciousness with the breath exhalation up high. So you do this a few times, up, up. It's like the thing with the hammer, where at the at carnivals where you hit the hammer and the thing goes up. It's like that. So you breathe in, and then you exhale, and when you do, sends it up. You send up your consciousness from your pineal gland all the way up to the highest dimensions. Do that a few times with breath, and then sit in that space. It's very like floaty kind of feeling. There's nothing to do there necessarily, but it helps fast track you into the meditative state. If you notice your mind is wandering again, boom, send the breath up again. Do it each time that you need to reset. Now, back to the movement thing. You get to the point where you're like, I don't, like, nobody's watching, so I'm just going to do what I feel like doing. Notice the thoughts that come to you when you're in that process, because through the movement, you can actually filter out a lot of thoughts, like you can, it's like, okay, this is going to sound really weird, but like, let's say you're doing a cleanse to flush your toxins. Doing movement can flush mental toxins out. I hope that you get what I mean when I say that. It's like thoughts arise, thoughts about your self-consciousness, about your self-worth, about a lot of things come up when you're moving. And so it's not so much to push the thoughts away, it's about releasing them. Because if you push them away, it's like you're sweeping them under the rug. Instead, what you're doing is letting them go so that they can be released. You don't need them anymore. Goodbye. So one thing you can do for manifestation is use movement. You can say, I'm going to build up spiritual energy, and then I'm going to apply it to a desired outcome. So let's say my desired outcome is to manifest a new car. Okay, I'm just going to use like a physical, tangible thing. And so I really want a new car. I'm going to manifest the means to achieve a new car, whether it be somebody go, hey, here's a new car. Would you like it? And you're like, yes, I would. Thank you very much. Or you produce the means to achieve the new car through your own work. Either way, you want this. So you're like, I need this. I want this. I'm going to make it happen. I am going to put on some music and I'm going to move around and I'm going to accumulate spiritual energy. Think about it kind of like static. If you scoot your socks on carpet up north, if you know what I'm talking about, in the winter, and then you can zap somebody and they're like, ah, it shocks them. Well, you're moving around and you're accumulating your spiritual energy like that. And then just like when you touch somebody and it shocks them, you send your spiritual energy into the energy of manifesting your goal. Okay, so yes, you can use movement in order to manifest. You can use movement in order to cleanse your thoughts. You can use movement to get into your higher states, because yoga class, a taxing yoga class where you feel like at the end, like you're passed out, you want to die, shavasana. Then you go back to your life and you have this altered state of mind that you get to take with you. Well, you can do that with not yoga. You can do it with Tai Chi, like I do. You can do it with just dancing. And some people do what's called ecstatic dance, where even during COVID, they're meeting virtually. So like right now, I could move my chair and I could dance in this area right here. And everybody else who's in the class can do it too. And there's a playlist on Spotify that they use, and everybody can play it at the same time and it's synced up, which is cool. Except I don't value from that personally. It feels weird to me. So me personally, I would rather do this on my own without any eyes on me, because it's just more fun for me to not have to work through the self-conscious thing, because I've already worked through that. I don't need that part of it. but especially because I'm trying to manifest a goal. Maybe not really. I'm just trying to like get moving. Okay. Well, that's it for you guys. Your pile got 2 cards. You're special today. I'm going to leave you guys on that note. I hope that was helpful and you got something out of it. I will see you on my next video. Please like this video if you were valued by it. Bye.